How are we doing today? Crazy day on the NQ today in terms of just distance covered on the market, right? This was a 350-ish, give or take move, 350 point move. But yeah, good amount of stuff to go over today. I guess a good amount of stuff. Frustrating day though for me, and this is where the first point would be. I really wanted to ask all the people watching the video, mainly, obviously, I'm not sure how many people watch these videos that don't trade any ICT concepts. Feel free to watch these videos if you don't. You're probably just not going to get too much out of it, or really understand much. But mainly the ICT traders that trade ICT concepts. How many of y'all took a trade today? How many of y'all loved the market today? How many of you guys, I'm really curious. I really want to see comments of the people that just were like, nope, today I'm not taking a trade. There's nothing for me. We're not getting any pullback. And then how many of you guys are really, really good at expansion models, right? Where you just accelerate in one direction. I'm genuinely curious. So I would love to see you guys leave a comment if you took a trade today or if you didn't and why or why not. Like this, again, it's not really a homework, but I guess it's kind of like a little journal exercise. But I'm just genuinely curious because when I make these videos, right, I'm coming from my own perspective here, and I think that's something that you have to understand and grow into. There's so many people in trading, in the trading game, in the trading space, that have just crazy egos, and they think that their way is the only way to trade. And I think that gets very dangerous because you can, trading with an ego is very dangerous. So the people that think that they're the best trader and think that they have the best strategy and the best way to view price action, and if they don't trade, then no one should trade. Right, there's certain days like Monday where, if you guys remember Monday, I genuinely believe that nobody should be trading that type of price action. But again, doesn't mean that you couldn't. But days like today, where I don't excel, right? I don't excel in days like today, and I kind of want to learn from it, but it's also not a bad thing. And I think people misconstrue the fact that if you don't know what to do during a certain market condition, that you're not doing something right. For example, if you go on social media, right, why I advise stay off social media, right? YouTube's a good platform because instead of just someone sending a screenshot of their trade and you don't know how many trades they lose, how many trades they win, you don't know how many trades they've taken that day, you have no idea. You just see a screenshot and it says plus 1,000 ticks or whatever, the clickbait is, and then they have that little eye emoji that says me and the team eating today or something, just the cringiest stuff. Oh my gosh, every time I see that I'm just cringing because it's just bro, who we what I mean, what are we trying to do here? Who are we trying to impress, right? I understand that they're just trying to impress for their Discord, and I respect the hustle for sure. But it's just kind of cringe because those platforms like Twitter and Instagram, it's you're just seeing the highlight reel and you're just getting the guys that have no attention span. So I like YouTube as a platform if you're with trade stuff, as long as the person knows what they're talking about, which you pretty much can figure out within the first video or two that you watch them. And once you know they're legit and they post good stuff, you can learn from it for sure. I don't think YouTube is very dangerous. But Instagram and Twitter are very dangerous places as a trader because it's so easy to see the person that has the biggest ego that tells you that if you didn't find a trade today that you're never going to be successful, right? I'll see that every once in a while. It always fascinates me when someone says, if you didn't catch shorts, you should just quit trading. Or if you didn't catch this long, you should just quit trading. It's bro, calm down, dude. Those are the people that you really need to stay away from because they're just they're just so blindsided. They don't understand the significance and whatever that can do to other people that are learning or trade differently, right? Everyone views the market a little bit differently. So the only area that I could have anticipated a trade today was we had an SMT with the 938 high. There was a 5-minute imbalance. This blue box is a 5-minute imbalance, and we ended up having an SMT with this 10 o'clock open candle. So the 10 o'clock candle, actually, let's draw this out. The 10 o'clock candle, this candle here on ES, came into this 5-minute imbalance, swept out these highs, and wicked down straight away, right? So this was a very bearish SMT that we got off open. or not off open, but off of market structure, right? So again, I didn't personally trade this because I don't have conviction when trying to trade, continuations and trend continuations, right? But I did recognize that we are in a daily imbalance, right? I wanted to see lower price. We're in a daily imbalance. We have a nice wick, a nice rejection candle so far. I really am curious how the day closes. And we are running through this 4 hour, right? We're starting to hold this one. So again, curious to see what happens. The 1 hour just gets ran through. So going into open, we're sitting on this candle right here. So we have no idea that this is the come, but we have a big move up. I think it was around 300 points on NQ coming into the market open. So that always leaves me weary, right? In the 15-minute, we had London session just kind of accumulated. So my point of interest was this low here, right? We end up taking out that low. So after this point, in this 4 hour imbalance, I'm really just kind of patient, right? I'm not too sure what's going to happen. So since we take out this low here, I'm really not too comfortable, being super married to one bias. That's why I wanted to see us come in into this 5 minute, see how we reacted in the 5 minute, and then maybe a 15-minute, and see what happens there. And we never got that, right? The only thing we got was this SMT with ES, right? ES is this blue and then wick down. And I don't have any conviction to enter off this. Maybe you do, right? Maybe you have an entry model to do that, but that doesn't mean that maybe you are better objectively. Maybe you are a better trader than me objectively, and you make more money, or you make money and you get payouts and stuff like that. Yes, you may be better objectively and make more money than me, but it doesn't make you a better trader, if that makes sense. Even though there's better traders than me that took that trade today, right? And I'm not saying that doesn't make them better. But one trade and one idea and one model doesn't make someone better or worse than anyone else, right? It's just about where do you excel, right? Tuesday, I had a great trading day. Yesterday, I could have a good trade. And I'm sure yesterday, the trade that I got at break even that I could have held, I'm sure a lot of people were never looking for a long there, right? And it doesn't mean that I was, seeing the market so much better than everyone else. It just means I saw something that I had confidence in, that I was willing to put risk on the table, right? Because that's all trading is. You have no idea what the market's going to do, but you just see something that you have conviction and confidence will play out in your favor and will yield results. So that was that, right? When we just started doing this chop, and I started viewing this as a low resistance liquidity, right? And I wanted to see when this fair value gap opened, I was wanting to see as a reaction off this 4 hour imbalance, an inverse to get a low resistance liquidity run. I would have entered a trade there. Never got it. So no harm, no foul. It doesn't mean just because my idea was wrong, right? Clearly we weren't bullish and we dumped another 200 points. But because our model didn't present itself, that's the beauty. You don't have to be right. You don't have to be perfect. You just have a thesis and an idea and be able to execute when it shows up. So the rest of the day was a little bit tricky. Again, we were delivering from this daily fair value gap. We displaced back into the range. We filled the entire new day opening, the new gap of the, we filled the entire gap of the regular hours, non-overnight hours. So again, it's tricky because Friday will be tough to really convince. It'll be tough for me to be convinced to take many trades or be confident in a direction on Friday because of just such a crazy whipsaw move, right? This is pretty wild price action. Just a big run up overnight, big sell off at open, and then tomorrow we'll see where we're at. But it really just depends. I think we'll just set up the next week. But the main thing I really want to talk about today, since I didn't find a trade, is just really the mindset of that, right? It's very difficult to see a day like this, and then hop online and see people take winners, and then it's like, okay, why didn't I have conviction with this? Why didn't I have conviction? How did I not find this move? And I think it's just okay for me to accept the fact that I do not excel in these types of conditions, which is a sell-off with no pullbacks, right? We didn't pull back to any 5 minute fair value gap ever, right? A 5 minute here, never pulled back. We pulled back to this 5 minute here, but I'm not looking for shorts at this point because we've already sold off. We've already sold off 230 points. We're not even close to equilibrium, so I'm not looking for shorts at this point, right? Now I would say, we're looking at some type of reversal here, but, I'm not looking for longs directly either, right? Because we didn't have anything under here that tells me anything super high confidence, right? So maybe we're just rebalancing to this 30-minute fair value gap and then going to run lower, right? This 4 hour still has some time, and this will give us a lot of bias, and I'm not sure why it's not loading. I need to refresh, I guess. But this 4 hour will give us bias for sure, because this 4 hour will tell us, how strong we are, right? This is a very strong wick off of this order block right here. We have this order block that we are delivering off of, this 4 hour order block, this 4 hour fair value gap, right? There's a lot of confluences that are sending us back up, and we can't jump the gun and say that we are going to be short bias yet. We're about to open another hourly fair value gap in 2 minutes, so it'll be very interesting to see what price does when it develops, right? But there's no prediction, there's no guessing. It's just waiting for your edge to play out. So it is definitely difficult though. And again, this is what I want to mainly go over. Is just it's difficult to have a day like this, and when your edge that you're confident in doesn't present itself, it just makes you feel like maybe you're doing something wrong, maybe you don't know something, and that could be part of the case for sure. It's definitely not that I know everything, but I don't need to stress myself out about a day where I don't trade, or a day where I didn't quite see the market well, or whatever, because it's very easy to forget on a day like today where you miss everything. It's very easy to forget that on Thursday, right, we took a fantastic trade here. We took a great trade here, 80-point run, right? What can we complain about? We took a nice short as well here that we didn't really hold very well with the draws and liquidity, right? I do a lot better when we're in a, I can also, not that I do a lot better, but I also just perform better in different circumstances, right? You never know which day is going to give you something that resonates with you, that makes sense for you, the trade that you have conviction with, that you have an edge with. And that's just really the hard part with trading, is that, when you see people on social media, you're only going to see when they're winning, and then when they don't take a trade, someone else took a trade, and you're only seeing people constantly taking trades. There's always trades, always trades, always trades. It's very rare that the whole community of traders don't have a trade in that day, right? It's very, very seldom. So you're constantly being fed the idea that there was a trade that you missed, right? And while sometimes I do miss my own setup, right, I can look back today and comfortably say I didn't see anything that resonates with me in price action, right? And again, that's why I asked at the beginning for anyone that did trade and does ICT concepts. I would love to kind of see what you think about that, right? And did you see anything super clear? And again, not saying that's going to make me feel any type of way and be, upset or mad or feel like I did something wrong. But it will just be an interesting perspective because for me, I didn't really see anything that I had much confidence in, and that's it's just hard sometimes to go and accept that. And have a day where you didn't have much confidence and stuff and didn't find a trade, but then you see a big run and you see people catch, oh, here's my 200-point move, whatever, called this out, got this, did this, and it's just like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with my trading? Why didn't I see this? And it's just a very dangerous, very slippery slope, I feel like, with trading, because so much of it is psychological, so much of it is mental. And if you even have that feeling that you don't know what you're doing, it can just hurt your confidence. So yeah, I just didn't really see any opportunity I loved, and I'm kind of wrestling with, did I do something wrong, or is there something obvious I missed, or what's the case? What's the deal? And yeah, I mean, I think that objectively, yeah, there's stuff I can learn, right? We had some nice, we had even just a 10-11, right? We had an SMT here, right? On a small time frame, like I missed this, right? Not that it gives me a trade, but this is just stuff that I could pay attention to, right? We could pay attention to stuff like this. We had an SMT here on the low time frame. Maybe I'm not being super, super observant with that stuff. Maybe I didn't put enough weight on this SMT, right? Maybe I didn't, what else do? We pulled back to, after we had this SMT here, we had displacement, right? We pulled back to this order block, and we held the order block, and we displaced lower, right? So there's stuff I can learn from price action, even though I didn't like it for a trade, and just keep continuously studying price action, understanding why the market's moving the way it's moving. When's the market moving the way it's moving? I think that's where I want to get better, is just continuously analyze the charts. I don't need to always know which way the market's moving, because that's not true. Like, people that tell you, oh, I know at this time that the market's going to do this every single time, or I know exactly where market's going now all the time, they're just straight lying to you. Or they genuinely have an ego of an absolute maniac, because again, like I said, there are people in this industry that have the most ridiculous egos I have ever seen. We are sitting on our computers looking at candles. I don't understand where people get their egos from. I think it's just because people, once they start getting a little bit of money, they completely forget that what they're doing isn't very special, right? You're not Cristiano Ronaldo, you're not Patrick Mahomes or whoever, you're not LeBron James, just because you can sit on a chart. Like, a lot of people fail at trading, yes, but it's not because it's some impossible task, right? We're not doing anything so special. So I hate when people get such big egos, because it's just like, calm down, buddy. Like, and it just makes you feel like that's the first time they've done anything difficult in their life, and then it gives them this license to try and push other people down. Like, there's a lot of people that just constantly hate with trading, and it's like, and they try and constantly brag about how good they're doing, and it just never makes sense to me, because typically, and a lot of times, and sometimes the exceptions are in the trading space, but typically you don't see people hating that are doing very much better than you are, right? So when people are hating on, and I'd say hating with the ego, there's a little bit of hate when it comes to the ego. When you say you're the best, all this stuff, there's a little bit of hate, because it's just to make yourself feel better, right? When you say that you're the best at something or whatever, when there's no real merit to it, you didn't win the Robbins Cup and prove that you're the best trader. You don't, maybe you don't even make as much money as you try and appear to make, and then you're trying to claim that you're the best trader. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, are we trying to just, get memberships to our Discord? We just try to make ourselves feel special? Like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting philosophy, right? And kind of ranting here, but it's really just, these are the days where when I don't see anything, it scares me, right? Because I don't have the results to back not taking a trade today. I don't have the results and the payouts and the consistency to prove that it's fine that I didn't trade. So I have to trust myself and trust the process that, okay, it was fine that I didn't trade today because I just didn't see a setup. And then my setup comes and it's great. Because I don't have the results yet, it scares me that maybe, did I not see something? Am I missing something? Do I not know something? Do I need to keep learning something? Do I need, whatever, blah, blah, blah. All these different things come into my mind of, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Did I do this wrong? Did I miss this? Because I just do not have the results to back up trading yet. So I have to just pull this confidence and this belief and the process-oriented mindset out of, nothing, right? I have to believe that I did the right thing today with not taking a trade or not seeing a trade. And yeah, that's why the main point of today's video is just why social media, I think, is just so difficult with trading, is because, it's very hard for new people to miss or to get blinded by people's egos and think that they're the outlier, the one that didn't see anything. But I'm sure, you're not going to see the mentors or the good traders, right, that didn't take a trade today. You're not going to see them on social media unless you directly follow them. But you're going to see every single person that, had a big day, because they're going to post it, right? When you have a $200-point day, if I had a 200, 100-point day, I would want to post it too, right? I make YouTube videos every day, so you see win or loss. But, you're going to see the extremes. And so I'm sure there's plenty of traders today that didn't take a single trade, that are great traders. So I need to remind myself that that's the case, right? There's times where I take a trade and someone that took a trade today won't, and vice versa. So it's always going to just depend on, what you have conviction with. I trade a lot better in ranging conditions, right? Where we take a high, we display slower. I don't do well when off market open, we never pull back to a higher time frame fair value gap above the 5 minute or above. When we do that off open, we never pull back. I don't trade well in those conditions. I don't force anything in those conditions for a reason. And I just need to trust myself, trust my eye, trust my process, and just not stress myself out about taking trades that I don't need to be taking, right? I don't necessarily need to be taking a setup just because it worked out or just because it's worked out before. If I don't like that type of setup, I'm not someone that's going to have conviction getting into a trade up here and then holding for the new day opening gap or holding for the range to be closed, because I don't have conviction with that, and that's okay. It's okay to not have every answer and not be the best with trading, because I tell you right now that you can outperform a lot of the best traders out there, right? A lot of the guys that are on social media talking about how they're the best and that they know the most. If you just stick to the process and you keep your head down, you will be out earning every single one of those people, and you won't have to be on social media telling people how you're the best trader, because you'll be able to sit there and silently, or not silently, not saying you don't have to post anything, but even if you are a massive earner or massive winner in trading, never use the term best, right? Because unless this is the only thing, unless you go and you win the Robbins Cup, I don't want to hear you call yourself the best trader. I absolutely do not want to hear you call yourself the best trader, because you are just inflating your ego, right? So again, you will out earn every single person if you just consistently stick to something you know and you can get better at, because the leverage in trading is all you need. You don't need a setup every day. You don't need 200 points. You do not need 200 points, right? The people that are consistently catching big moves like this, they're trading way less size because they can't even handle holding 200 points with their full size. But if you had conviction and a scalp from here to here, and you can go 10 full contracts, you're going to out-earn the person that has traded 5 micros here and holding all the way down here, right? These are the Instagram warriors, the RR warriors online, that they're not even trading to make money. They're trading for their ego and your ego, right? I'm not saying that having a big RR is bad or good or whatever, but I just feel like people get caught up in the wrong things in trading. Like, people just glorify having a 10 RR or a 300-point runner. And yes, I love that too. It feels great because that means you're in a big move. But that's not what trading is about. Trading is not about getting a 300-point move or 10 RR or, a 99% win rate. Like, it's about making money, right? It's about making money. And I hate the social media side of trading because it's flex based, it's results based, and it's not flexing. Like it's hard because since trading's about money, I don't want to see people just flexing their P&L constantly. But it's I'm tired of people taking a trade, 100-point trade, and then they post it with that little eye emoji, and it's whatever. I don't even know why. That's the cringiest thing ever when people be posting that little eye emoji. It's bro, you're not ICT, dog. Calm down. You're not ICT. You learned through YouTube, right? Most likely you learned through YouTube, or you paid someone to teach you. You're not the market maker. Calm down with that little eye emoji. And if you're someone that posts with the eye emoji because it's just it's the culture. I get it. It's the trading culture. It's pretty cringy. But I get it, right? That's how these types of things are. A lot of people, again, no offense, but a lot trading is a very nerdy thing. I have to be a nerd for trading. I will admit that, right? I do nerdy amounts of studying and reflection and all this stuff on trading. I have to do nerdy stuff to do this, right? But it's just kind of like the gym community, bro. If anyone, I was in the gym space really a long time ago when I was in high school, junior year of high school, stuff like that, early TikTok days, and I was blowing up on social media on TikTok for fitness stuff, but it was for Olympic style weightlifting, different stuff. It was never the cringy who's the dude now? I don't even keep up with any fitness content anymore, but Shizzy, dude, that stuff is just ridiculously cringy. When people are just doing those weird faces or just even the weird terms, it's I feel like people as a society attach all their identity onto one thing, and you'll see it in the gym community, you'll see the cringy stuff, and people just adopt it, and you'll see it with the trading, and you see the ICT cult, I trade ICT concepts, I know they work, I know I can get better with them, but I'm never gonna be sitting here, posting some cryptic message on my Twitter, because it's just weird, it's just strange. Either teach someone, show someone what something, but why are you having to say these cryptic things you're the Riddler and Batman, you're the villain, it's just cringe, it's just weird, it's just strange to me. I don't understand it. That's the one thing about online presences and stuff that just rubs me the wrong way. It's just like people have such a herd mentality. And it's just all copy and paste, right? Like I trade fair value gaps, I trade whatever, inverses, right? A lot of my stuff's gonna be very similar from the people I learned from, but like I'm not trying to act like it's some, like secret sauce or hidden gem or like whatever. It's like I just watched YouTube videos and was in Discords and I picked up stuff. Like I'm never gonna sit here, even if I'm making millions of dollars a year, right? If I make millions of dollars from trading, I'm never gonna act like I'm doing anything special because I'm not. I'm just copying stuff that I've seen and learned from experience, and I've used it to my advantage. Like I'm not doing anything amazing, right? I'm just doing something, right? And it's just so like I'm really ranting now, but it's just like I really, really find the social media just so just disappointingly just cringe and bad for normal people that are into trading, because it's just so unnecessary, right? Like again, like this cryptic, there's a little I thing or like whatever. It's like the market goes up and down all day, regardless if you trade bull flags, bear flags, trend lines, support and resistance, ICT, Bollinger Bands, divergence, like whatever you trade, the market, there's people successful in every single strategy. So why are you posting, saying that, this is the key or this is that? It's like, that just worked for you. Say, this worked for me. This is what I see. This is how I see it. This is what makes sense to me. And leave it at that. Don't try and inflate. And I think I blame ICT. And again, I know his stuff works. But I blame ICT because he's basically like the OG cryptic, I'm the best, this, that, the other. I'm not saying ICT isn't the best trader, but I'm just saying he did a lot of irreversible damage to the trading space. He did a lot of good for sure. Like I'm learning his concepts. So whenever I'm making money, like he did a lot of good for me. But he did a lot of irreversible damage to the paid groups, right? The scammers, like there's just so much that it's starting to just get unnecessary for me to keep rambling about. But yeah, man, I mainly just want to come on here today and talk about that. Talk about how days like this can feel for someone that is unprofitable as such myself. And it is, it's a very overwhelming trading game. But we're in it for the long haul. Even if I did miss out today and I should have seen something, we'll learn from it in the future, right? I'll review these charts later today when the full day plays out. And yeah, 99% sure not taking a trade. I will pin a comment of myself if I do take a trade, letting you guys know when and where and how it went. But probably not taking a trade. I just really can't imagine. It's 12 o'clock right now. I just really cannot imagine taking a trade. But yeah, I mean, even if I did miss something today, I guess the final point I want to make is that it's not the end of the world. There will be tomorrow. There'll be the next day. There'll be the next day. And I will out-earn a lot of people by just sticking to the basics, sticking to what I'm comfortable with, and excelling and getting better every day. So I appreciate you guys that have been watching the videos and subscribing. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Leave a like, leave a comment. Help me out there, right? It's always nice to see. It's really cool. And I appreciate all you guys for real. So I'll see you guys Friday. Be careful for tomorrow. Don't want to ride off tomorrow too early, but, fingers crossed, right? I'm not expecting a whole lot there. But yeah, boring week so far for me. Just with one trading day yesterday, just crappy execution, right? I think that would make not trading today a little easier if I would have executed better yesterday. We'd be up more healthily on the week, but it is what it is. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.